5 books on my list are sitting right here. Let's get into it. The first one is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the reason why this is number one is because it's the very first personal finance book I've ever read. It was the first one that I bought, and kind of just taught me how to think, really. It kind of dives into how you think and all sorts of other stuff. And one thing that I found interesting is I really don't like to read, and although this was a hard book to read, I actually marked a bunch of pages and circled a bunch of stuff into this book, where I go back and I relook at. I try to do it every day to keep me on the right path and really kind of keep my thoughts in check and really assess my goals and make sure that I'm following the steps in this book, because every chapter the book mentions some kind of success story from someone and mentions a tip, and I find that very helpful, especially when there's a bunch of books that are just like wishy-washy. So that's why it's number one. And moving on to number two, Rich Dad Poor Dad had to be in the number two spot. I love this book. I love this story. I have his Rich Dad Poor Dad for teens. I really like this book, and it kind of just, I don't know. It's kind of like all personal finance in one book. Like, if that's possible, they did it right there. Like, that's basically what it is. If all you want to know is about personal finance, everything about it that you need to know, and business and all that good stuff, that to have a good foundation, this is the book. So, anyways, I'm not gonna throw that book because I like it. Moving on to number three, The Richest Man in Babylon. Right now, I'm not yet finished with this book. I love it so much. It's most likely going to be the book of the month this month, and if you don't know what that is, each month I choose a book that fits the criteria, and it becomes the book of the month, and I basically talk all about the book and why I would suggest it. And as of right now, where I'm at, this is kind of like the foundation. I know that I just said like the whole personal finances in that book that I just put down, but this book right here is like it's formulated into a story, and I really like the story with it, as well as it has a nice way of teaching things, and it kind of puts it forth that there's foundations, and if you follow these foundations, there's certain rules to being financially free, and they're in this book, and they're very clear. And I think for how short it is, it dives into the stuff very well, and that's why it's number three. It would be number two, but you just can't beat Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like, that's just not gonna happen. Number four is the 4-Hour Workweek. I chose this book because this is the book that created the 80 to 20 to 80, or 80 to 21, same thing, ratio, where 80% of the work that you do is the most amount that produces nothing, whereas over here, the 20% of work that you do is what actually produces money. And Tim, good old Timothy Ferris, good old Tim breaks it down to where how he went from making $40,000 a year to making $40,000 a month, and what that looks like, and all this, and how you can really switch your life into doing that. And I really liked it, even though it is longer than all get out. I really don't like reading, but these books are worth it. But shoot, that's a lot of pages. Anyways, moving on to the last and not least, the Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. I wonder if he's related to Bach, the musician. Yeah. Anyways, wow, sold over 1.5 million copies. I don't know if you can see that. I don't care. Um, sorry. So this book, I really liked it because it talked about the stuff that I like, and it kind of breaks down if the little expenses that you do, if you were to invest it, the 401k, this was the stand, get that out of here. Um, the 401ks, it talks about basically putting your money aside automatically so you don't have to touch it. It'll make you a millionaire and you won't even have to work for it. If you set up things to pull your money from your paycheck automatically, you won't have to worry about saving or investing. It'll automatically do it. And I kind of carried this book into my investing strategy. My investing strategy is dividend reinvesting and then holding stocks over a long period of time. So I have two different strategies, but for my dividend reinvesting, I set up a drip program with M1 Finance to where all the dividends go back into each other, so it's automatic. And I also set up this stuff with my bank account, so each month a certain chunk of money leaves my bank account and goes into that M1 Finance. And then with the other holding those stocks long term, that's in Robinhood. There's also a chunk that goes from there into Robinhood that are building up those portfolios, and I'm not even touching it. And that's why I like this book. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Make sure to comment if you have any suggestions on next videos or if you want me to do anything with that. And make sure to subscribe. It really helps out. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.